The Nevada sun beat down on the assembled crowd. The heat was relentless, but the people stood firm, their faces determined and resolute. They had gathered here for a purpose, a mission that transcended the scorching temperatures and the discomfort of the desert. This was more than just a political rally. It was a movement, a collective cry for justice and equality. They were there to hear Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the firebrand congresswoman known as AOC. Her words had ignited a spark in the hearts of many, and today she was here to fan those flames into a roaring fire. AOC was not just a politician, she was a symbol of hope and change for countless Americans. This wasn't just another rally, it was a gathering of souls united by a common cause. The air was thick with anticipation, and the energy was palpable. People held signs high, their messages clear and powerful. This was a moment of solidarity, a testament to the strength of the human spirit. It was a call to arms. The enemy? Oligarchy. The people were tired of the few controlling the many, of the rich getting richer while the poor struggled to make ends meet. They were here to take a stand, to fight for a future where everyone had a fair shot at the American dream. The stakes, the soul of America. AOC's message was clear. She spoke with passion and conviction, her words resonating with the crowd. She painted a picture of a better future, one where justice and equality were not just ideals, but realities. A small group of ultra-wealthy individuals were hijacking the American dream. They lived in luxury while millions struggled to get by. The disparity was glaring, and it was time for a change. AOC's words were a rallying cry, a call to action for all who believed in a fair and just society. They were rigging the system in their favor. The wealthy and powerful had manipulated the rules to benefit themselves, leaving the rest of the country to fend for itself. This was not the America that the people believed in, and they were ready to fight back. They were leaving working families behind. The middle class was shrinking, and the gap between the rich and the poor was widening. Families were struggling to make ends meet, to provide for their children, to keep a roof over their heads. This was not the American dream, it was a nightmare. And they were doing it in plain sight. The evidence was everywhere, in the headlines, in the statistics, in the everyday lives of ordinary Americans. The people were no longer willing to turn a blind eye to the injustices that were happening all around them. This wasn't about left versus right. It was about right versus wrong. It was about standing up for what was just and fair, regardless of political affiliation. The crowd was a diverse mix of people from all walks of life, united by a common goal. It was about right versus wrong. It was about fighting for a future where everyone had an equal opportunity to succeed. The people were ready to take a stand, to make their voices heard, to demand change. It was about ordinary Americans taking back their country. They were tired of being ignored, of being left behind. They were ready to reclaim their power, to build a future that worked for everyone. It was about building an economy that worked for everyone, not just the privileged few. It was about creating opportunities for all, about ensuring that everyone had a fair shot at success. The people were ready to roll up their sleeves and get to work. The crowd erupted in cheers. They were energized, inspired, ready to take action. They knew that change was possible, that together they could make a difference. They knew AOC was right. Her words had struck a chord, resonating deeply with their own experiences and struggles. They were ready to stand with her, to fight for the future they believed in. They had felt the sting of economic inequality firsthand. They knew what it was like to struggle, to worry about the future, to feel left behind. But today they felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. They were ready to fight back. They were ready to take a stand, to demand change, to work together to build a better future. The call to arms had been heard, and the people were ready to answer. AOC didn't mince words. She stood before the crowd, her voice unwavering, her message clear. This was a fight for the soul of the nation, she declared, a battle against the forces that sought to undermine democracy and entrench inequality. She called out the architects of this rigged system by name. With a fiery determination, she listed those she believed were responsible for the growing chasm between the rich and the poor, the powerful and the powerless. Elon Musk, she argued, used his billions to influence public policy while paying a pittance in taxes. His wealth, she said, was a symbol of a broken system where the ultra-rich could bend the rules to their favor, leaving ordinary citizens to pick up the pieces. Donald Trump, she reminded the crowd, was a living embodiment of inherited wealth and corporate greed. His rise to power, she contended, was not a testament to the American dream, but a stark reminder of how privilege and connections could propel one to the highest office in the land. The Republican Party, she charged, had become little more than a rubber stamp for the wealthy and powerful. They had abandoned their principles, she argued, in favor of policies that enriched their donors at the expense of the average American. They slashed taxes for the rich while gutting social programs that working families relied on. This, she said, was not just a political issue, but a moral one. How could a nation claim to be great when it allowed its most vulnerable citizens to suffer? They put corporations ahead of people, profits ahead of the planet. The relentless pursuit of wealth, she warned, was leading to environmental destruction and social decay. It was a path that, if left unchecked, would lead to irreversible damage. This wasn't just about economics, AOC insisted. It was about morality. It was about the kind of society we wanted to build, the values we wanted to uphold. It was about standing up for justice, equality, and the common good. It was about basic fairness, the idea that everyone, regardless of their background, should have an equal shot at success, that no one should be left behind or forgotten in the pursuit of progress. It was about whether America would continue to be a land of opportunity or devolve into a plutocracy where only the wealthy had a voice. AOC's words were a call to action, a plea for unity, and a reminder that the fight for a fairer, more just society was far from over. AOC's message resonated far beyond the traditional Democratic base. She spoke to the struggles of working families across the political spectrum. She called for unity in the face of corporate greed and political corruption. The working class, she argued, had more in common with each other than they did with the billionaires who sought to divide them. Black, white, brown, it didn't matter. They were all in this together. The only way to beat the oligarchy, AOC insisted, was to stand together, to organize, to vote, to make their voices heard. AOC didn't just rail against the problems, she offered solutions, bold, progressive solutions that put working families first. Universal healthcare, she argued, was a moral imperative. No one should have to choose between their health and their financial security. A living wage, she insisted, wasn't a radical idea. It was about ensuring that everyone who worked for a living could afford basic necessities. Affordable housing, she added, was essential to the well-being of families and communities. These weren't handouts, AOC emphasized. They were investments in the American people. They were about creating a fairer, more just society where everyone had the opportunity to thrive. Section 5, Nevada Democrats, Champions of the People. AOC took a moment to acknowledge her colleagues in the fight. She praised Nevada Representatives Stephen Horsford and Susie Lee, as well as Senator Jackie Rosen, for their unwavering support of working families. These Democrats, she said, understood the struggles of ordinary Nevadans. They were fighting for affordable health care, quality education, and good-paying jobs. They were standing up to the special interests and putting people first. Section 6, Community Building, the Antidote to Authoritarianism. AOC's message wasn't just about electoral politics, it was about building power from the ground up. She urged those in attendance to get involved in their communities, to join local organizations, to speak out against injustice. Community organizing, she argued, was the best antidote to authoritarianism and corruption. It was about people coming together to solve problems and hold their leaders accountable. It was about reclaiming our democracy from the bottom up. Section 7. A movement for all, inclusivity at the heart of the fight. AOC's message of inclusion resonated throughout the rally. She addressed the crowd as a tapestry of backgrounds and beliefs, emphasizing that the fight for economic justice transcended any single identity. She specifically addressed trans individuals and LGBT families, assuring them that they were not alone and that their struggles were inextricably linked to the fight for a more just and equitable society for all. Section 8. Passing the torch, Bernie Sanders joins the stage. The energy in the crowd reached a fever pitch as AOC welcomed a special guest to the stage, Senator Bernie Sanders. Sanders, a longtime champion of working families, received a hero's welcome. He picked up where AOC left off, railing against the greed of the billionaire class and calling for a political revolution. He echoed AOC's calls for universal healthcare, a living wage, and tuition-free college. The crowd roared its approval. The message was clear. The fight for economic justice was a generational struggle, and the torch was being passed to a new generation of leaders. Section 9. Echoes of Hope in the Nevada Desert. As the rally drew to a close, a sense of hope hung in the air. The crowd, diverse and vibrant, had gathered from all corners of the state, united by a common cause. They had come to hear a message that resonated deeply within their hearts, a message that promised change and a brighter future. AOC had articulated the anger and frustration that many Americans were feeling. Her words were not just rhetoric. They were a reflection of the lived experiences of countless individuals. She spoke of the struggles of the working class, the injustices faced by marginalized communities, and the urgent need for systemic change. But she had also offered a vision for a better future, a future where equity and justice were not just ideals but realities. Her vision was one of inclusivity, where every person, regardless of their background, had the opportunity to thrive and succeed. A future where the economy worked for everyone, not just the wealthy few. She painted a picture of communities coming together, supporting local businesses and creating a sustainable and fair economic system. It was a vision that inspired hope and action, a future where healthcare was a right, not a privilege. She emphasized the importance of accessible and affordable healthcare for all, highlighting the stories of those who had suffered due to the current system. Her words were a call to action for a more compassionate and just society, a future where everyone had the opportunity to achieve their dreams. She spoke of the importance of education, job opportunities, and the support systems needed to help individuals reach their full potential. It was a vision of empowerment and possibility. The fight wouldn't be easy. The path to this future was fraught with challenges and obstacles. But the determination and resolve of the people were evident. They were ready to stand up, to march, and to demand the change they deserved. The oligarchy wouldn't give up its power without a fight. The entrenched interests and powerful elites would resist any efforts to redistribute power and resources. But the rally was a testament to the growing movement for change. But AOC's rally was a reminder that the power ultimately rested with the people. The energy and enthusiasm of the crowd were palpable. They were not just passive spectators, they were active participants in the fight for a better future. And the people were waking up. They were realizing their collective strength and the impact they could have. The dawn of a new day was on the horizon, and with it, the promise of a more just and equitable world.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.